But basically, to get followers is sitting here clicking a button. That's why it should be something that's pretty easy to outsource to somebody else, but you really need to know how to do it yourself. So if nothing else out of this meeting, if you're like, I'm not sure exactly what I want to sell our suppliers, even if you went and set up, grabbed your domain, set up your company name, and go start developing your Pinterest account, your Twitter account, and I'm going to show you some stuff on Twitter as well. You got a question?
I'm just wondering if you're aware of at what threshold Pinterest says, hey, maybe this is expanding because he's following tens or hundreds of thousands of people a day.
That is pretty interesting because every social media platform has that limit, and I've hit it on every single one of them. And it actually, there's no real solid number, but there is, like if you have 0 followers and you go out and try to follow 500 people on Pinterest, that you will be stopped before you get to 500. If you have thousands of followers, there's a ratio that they use, and they're constantly checking to see who's spamming and who's not. But once you find that limit, then you got to find other ways to get followers, or just come back the next day, or there's also tools out there that allow you to unfollow people that are not following you back. So you can use those tools as well. Those are ones that I wish I had the links that I could just send to you right now, but I'll have to dig up some stuff. But there's ways to just sit there basically and follow, unfollow until your account is really a legitimate and heavy social media presence. At work, Hillary, who's on the remote connection here, I follow the heck out of people, and she goes through with this program called Tweet Adder and unfollows all the ones that haven't followed us within like a week after I've done a major following initiative. So there's constantly, I follow people, she unfollows them. But our Twitter account over the last few months has gone from 200 followers up to like 938. But the thing about that is not only do you get more traffic from those social media properties from that, but for us, the best thing is you get authority, and Google looks at that and says this is a legitimate Pinterest or Twitter account, and they're tweeting or pinning these particular items, and it gets you search traffic. It's a really good way to get search traffic. From Pinterest, yeah. And a lot of those folks, I mean, they're looking at your pin like, oh, I like this, and so there's actually probably pretty high converting traffic. From all the data that I've seen, Pinterest is one of the highest converting referral places to get traffic from. So on Twitter, same type of thing. So if I'm looking for like a home decorator or something like that, what I'm trying to do is carve out with my Twitter account this whole idea that this is all about home decor, vinyl lettering, arts and crafts, like that type of understanding that Google and the whole internet has about my particular business. So what I'll do is I just went and searched for home decorator, and I click on people, and oftentimes I'll just go through and just follow. Sometimes it's hard to get like a magazine to follow you back as it would be like a real person. So, but oftentimes I'll just go through here and just follow as many people as I can follow. And what happens? See, guys.
This is an organization that does the same thing to you. Who's this list up again?
So I just went and searched for home decorator. So over here, the first one was everything, which mostly is tweets and things like that. But then I click on people, and then I just go through and follow like crazy. And then you can use apps like Tweet Adder, which is a free app that you can go back through and say who's not following me. And after a week of having followed them, if they're not following you back, then you just unfollow them. And those are the ways basically to develop these social media properties to give you a bunch of leverage. And if you get enough of the authority from these things, if you got, for instance, like if you had 20,000 followers on Pinterest, then if you said, hey, I want to have some pretty decent sales today, you can go through your site and pin a bunch of stuff to different boards on your site, and you would draw traffic immediately. It would be like something you could just, a faucet you could just turn on immediately. Yeah, so Reddit's another one, guys, that I'm going to sign into my Reddit account. Reddit also is another place where certified losers like to hang out. Like the F word is probably like the most popular word on the whole site. I don't understand why our society's gotten to be that way, but it is. But so Reddit, here's my Reddit profile. I just set up this persona, Dr. Smoosky. I don't even know where I came up with that name, but he's got a 22 link karma and 24 comment karma, which means that I've gone and I've interacted with a bunch of different stuff on Reddit. And so I've gotten a little bit of a clout on Reddit. So it's like, hey, if I post something, that's Dr. Smoosky posting it, and it's a big deal, kind of. Not that big a deal. There's people that have these numbers up in the thousands. But so, for instance, when I was trying to promote an article that one of our guys at DemoChimp wrote, I just posted his article up there and put it into the entrepreneur category. I'll show you real quick how you go about doing something on Reddit. So to submit a new link, if I wanted to promote one of my products from Sweatshirt Station, and this is kind of interesting because if I do it right, and you have to experiment with these things, but if I do it right, oftentimes you will have, you can have people ordering the thing like within an hour of you posting it because you have so many people looking at it. So if I go in here, I'm like, let's find just a cool parka that might be interesting to people on Reddit. Let's do this tall size parka. I'm just going to grab that and post it in there. Tell it to give me a title. Great jacket for tall guys, which, I'm sure some people have issues with buying jackets. I've never had a problem with it, but so tall. Reddit has a way of categorizing and subcategorizing stuff. So I'm doing tall clothing, I think. So I'm just going to do it under tall. And I think that's where I put the last one in there. So like there's a category in here where people just deal with issues that related to being tall. So I'll submit that. And so what happens is people can actually come in here and upvote this, or they can comment on it, whatever it may be. And if you interact with these and get to the point where you have an account that has a lot of authority to it, then once you get that account built up, you go and you put a link on here, and all of a sudden your site is flooded with visits from that.
Why did you put the image?
It takes a little bit to pull the image.
Oh, but it will.
Yeah. So let's see. If we go back and refresh that. Sometimes it takes a little bit for them to figure it out. But anyway, over the next few days, I will see probably like 10 to 20, maybe 30 visits from Reddit to that page. And that first day, yeah, it was over 300 the first day that I posted the one. It was like a work jacket. Some of these things, like, it depends on what the audience is you send it to and what the product is, but some of them make a huge splash. In that case, apparently, there are a lot of people who thought, hey, that's a cool jacket, and they must have been voting it up or sharing it or something.
So do you recommend having your company account for all of these, and as well as some sort of a release for what you're going to do?
Yeah, some of these sites, they're not really set up even for a company account because they don't want companies doing promotion. They're only set up for personal accounts. What I'll do typically, whatever business I set up, I will go set up a Gmail account so that is specifically used for setting up Reddit accounts, Pinterest, Twitter, all of those, because I don't want to be reading mail all day that comes in from all those. You get spam like crazy from it. So I'll set up, like, for instance, sweatshirtstation@gmail.com. And that's the one I use for all of the accounts that I've set up. So all of my, like, even Google Plus. Well, Google Plus, actually, you could do it a different way, but Twitter, Pinterest, Reddit, StumbleUpon, I'll set all those up and just keep on developing. Some parts of internet marketing involve just going and spending a half hour doing what they call developing an account, which means just going and interacting with other people on there, commenting on things, and being genuine and realistic about stuff. And as you develop those accounts, it just gives you a lot more. It's like putting more attention in that slingshot. So when you release your site or release a new page or whatever it may be, it just has a lot bigger splash than if you had not done that.
So, sorry, going back to one other thing you mentioned earlier, as you're setting up your site initially, you wanted to start developing all these social media accounts. Is that even? I mean, my site's like halfway down. It just looks like that, right? So, I mean, obviously you don't want people going to that site yet. What? But you still want to develop it, right? So.
Yeah. So, do you know what you're planning on selling? Do you have any idea? Oh, that's right, outdoor stuff. So what I would do is I go create a Twitter account that's all about outdoors. You don't even have to link your website, or you could on your website just put a landing page. It's just like a one-page thing that's like, this is about the outdoors, and just start developing it just like if you had the complete store ready to go. And if you got to the point where when you're ready to launch your store, if you had 400 or 500 followers on Twitter and Pinterest, and if you had a Reddit and StumbleUpon account that had some authority and some history on them, as soon as you start publishing those products, Google's going to start indexing them. You can link to them from those pages, and you're that much further ahead because you've set up your slingshot. So that applies for anybody. If you have an idea of what you want to do, you can go set up a Twitter or Pinterest profile based on whatever name you want to use, and go ahead and get started. And you don't even have to have products ready to go. You can just go ahead and develop your accounts however you want to. One thing that we've seen, the inbound marketing campaign that I'm doing with the company that I'm working with right now, we have been working on making sure that we publish pages. Our goal is to get to a certain number of visits per month in January. We want to get to about 11,000 visits. And the way that we're doing it is we publish pages, and each of those pages we give them what we call a certain accountability or responsibility for bringing traffic to the site. So, for instance, I published one yesterday that was called, it was 2 days ago, B2B Strategy for Inbound Marketing for B2B Companies. And I want that particular page to go out and bring in at least 100 new people that don't know about DemoChimp during the month of January. And so to be able to give that page that kind of accountability, what I do to it is I go and I'll share it on LinkedIn. I'll share it through Twitter probably 10 times. I'll share it through Facebook, Google+, and all these other accounts that I'm constantly developing. And so come month of January, that page will get at least 100 new people coming to learn about the company. And it's the same type of thing with your product pages. Oftentimes, you'll publish a bunch of product pages, and then you just need to go and expect that each of those product pages is responsible for bringing in, say, 10, 20, 30 new people to your site each month. And if you consider it in that way, then it just keeps on growing, and you keep watching your traffic go up and the orders come in based on that. I did want to address something that X was talking about in terms of a strategy that pinpoints one product or maybe a group of products versus the megastore approach. I actually wrote an article, and if anybody's interested in it, let me know and I can send it to you. But there's two different approaches you could use. You could just say, I'm going to go get a supplier account that has 3,000 products. I'm just going to dump them all on there. I'm going to go get links all to my homepage and just see what sells. And you could do that. And I've done that quite a bit with all of my companies. I've kind of just had this general thing where, like, with my sporting goods company, we had one year that we made $75,000 in profit. And I told my wife, I said, let's build this up to make $150,000 next year. And my simple strategy for doing it was to instead of having 2,500 products on my site, I've doubled that to 5,000. And the mix was pretty well similar. You know, the margins on them, there were products that were $10, there were products that were several $1,000s. But that was the whole strategy basically, was to just publish 2,500 more products on my site, put them in different categories, and use the same type of strategy. And we did. That following year, we made $150,000 by doubling the number of products. So I know that works. Another strategy, though, would be if you go and look at your suppliers and you find especially products that have, oftentimes they're called a minimum advertised price. And what that means is that anybody on the internet cannot go and sell this thing. Maybe the wholesale price is $400. People can't do this race to the bottom where they are selling it for like $420, and then after merchant fees, you don't make anything on it. A lot of manufacturers will say you can only advertise this $400 wholesale product for a minimum of $600. So that gives you $200 in margin. So if you went and found a group of maybe 5 of those and decided, I want to sell 3 products of each of these every single day, so that I'm making at least, say $300 to $400 a day on my site, then what you would do is you would go and you would optimize that particular page itself. And I'm going to show you just one example of that on, let's see, let's go look at, so this is one example. See how the title up there, it says Port Authority Tall Nootka Jacket Style TL J792. So what I've got in there, I've got the brand in there. I've got that it's a tall size jacket. Is this, Steve, did you put this on here? Maybe this might have been one that Steve added. What? It looks mostly right. But so I have,
Yeah, I've done that.
and here, so you've got a title of the page that is 5 to 7, maybe even 8 words. That allows you to attract the long tail traffic, like I talked about, people that are searching for more than just, we're looking for more than just tall jacket, right? And we're looking more than just jacket. We're looking for, if I were to do this maybe a little bit differently, I'd add the word parket in there. But if you look at the title of the page, if you look at the image names themselves, if we take a look at this, let's see, copy image URL and just paste it in there. So the image name itself is very descriptive of what that product is. You can see the name here, Port Authority 792 Nootka Jacket Graphite Black. So we have done 7 or 8 words in there that describe exactly what that jacket is. We could stand to use a little bit more text here, but we've got to go back through and we'll fix that. Insulated and waterproof is what Steve put in there. So people are looking for like an insulated Port Authority jacket, like a huge selection of different keyword phrases are bound to come to this particular product. If we wanted to focus on this, if we wanted to say, let's sell at least like 10 of these jackets each month, what we'd do then is we'd go and make sure that we tweeted this URL probably 10 times during the month. We'd share it through Google Plus, 5 or 10 times a month. We'd share it on our LinkedIn page. And we would specifically go after this one particular jacket. We would also do some rank tracking where we check and see where we rank for the term like tall Nootka jacket. And we would go and we'd sit there and move that thing up to where we're close to the top 5 of Google for that particular term. So there's 2 different approaches that you have. If you find a really good product that you really want to, you think you can market well.
Is that what you did with the microfit?
Yeah.
You
Yeah. So
and
what?
your margin on that was up.
Yes.
Is there any reason why your jacket's at like 8 cents as opposed to like
I didn't catch you. Can you say that again?
I was asking why you put the like opposed to a original 99 for a discount.
Can you type your message in? You're breaking up for some reason. We can't hear. It sounds like you're in a cave.
Okay.
Would you mind just typing it in, and then I can answer it from that? While he's typing that in, let me just show you this. So here's just one example of that. When I was running prohealthcareproducts.com, there was this product that I ended up selling a few times, and I realized, hey, I've got something good here. It had a huge margin on it. Each time I sold one of these things, I made $250. And I found out how. So this is the term microfet too. This is the manufacturer. This is me. But I've also got, if they're still there, this video is mine. This is mine. This Facebook page is mine. And I used to actually have a Pinterest board that was mine. So I had about 7 of the top 10 spaces on Google for the term microfet too. And I would sell like 10 or 15 of those a month. And so I made $2,000 to $3,000 a month on that one product. And so if you can find a product you're like, hey, this is a really good opportunity, it's a niche product, then go after that product and go after it hard. The way that I would recommend doing it is make sure that your description and the way you publish that product on your site is very well done, down to like really good copy, 500 words. The image name has to be right. The alt text on the image should be right. The URL should be search engine friendly, and then create a YouTube video that somehow demonstrates that product. You don't even have to necessarily film it. You can use things like still images. Yeah, there's a program out there called Animoto.com that you can go and just throw some still images into it, and it'll make you a video. But go put that on YouTube and get your YouTube views up and link it back to your page. Put it on Google Plus, put it out there on Twitter several times, and you'll notice that as that thing rises up to the top, that sometimes it can be a matter of getting 10 or 15 products that are your real money makers that you get a lot of traffic for, that the other 1,000 or however many else you have, you don't have to worry so much about promoting as much as these. But I have seen some strategies where people will say, okay, we've got these 5 products. We want to sell 10 of these each per month. And if we do that, we'll make $10,000 a month. And that works really well. So I just wanted to point out the difference between the general approach and then specifically targeting specific pages. So that's what I had in my presentation. If you guys have other questions, awesome. I just want to let you know, so I am trying to put together over the next few months a Udemy course. Are you guys familiar with Udemy? Has anybody used that before? So Udemy is basically, it's an interactive course, udemy.com, U-D-E-M-Y. It's like Academy, but it's I guess. It's almost like YouTube type of thing. So anybody can go on there and teach a course. There's actually something recently about a BYU kid that made like $66,000 in a month by teaching a course about a new programming language that he just learned. So it's kind of a cool thing. Basically a way for people to interact and share knowledge. But I'm planning on setting that up over the next few months. And in the process of that, we'll be collecting modules of, when I say, hey, go do this, go develop your Google Plus account, to a lot of people, it's like, well, how do I do that? And this would have the depth that would go off on any one of these points. So anyway, if you want to be part of that, I have a Facebook group out there that you can go and request to join. I think that's how, Misha, did you see my announcement through there, I guess? So a lot of folks that I invite to these, I just have this Facebook group that that I'll post stuff to. And so if you want to have updates, then go look for, where is it? Maybe, oops, just went too far. I think it's called Richard Robbins Internet Marketing and Business Class. So just go look for that and just say, hey, can I please be a part of that, or just email me and I'll add you to it. And as I develop these things, or whenever I find something that's a good resource for any one of these topics we discussed today, then I'll just drop it in there and you can go read about it.
I have one question. What are the 3 most important things we need to look at on Google Analytics?
On Google Analytics, the most important things that I look at are, let's go back to mine. One is the overview of traffic, is what I look at, just to see what the patterns are.
And that's in that first.
Over audience overview.
Okay.
The next one I look at is acquisition. And I'll click on where I get most of my orders from would be the organic search. So I'll look at organic search, and then down here you can actually see.
That's what shows you all those.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what tells you if you're paying some interest?
Oh yeah, that actually is one level up. I'll just go back to it. So if you look at, it breaks it down: organic search, social, direct. So if I click on social, then I can see, so Reddit sent me a bunch of traffic, StumbleUpon, Twitter. Let me just say something I didn't mention. StumbleUpon, has anybody used that website before? StumbleUpon actually, based on an article that I read and also based on the experience I've had with it since then, a StumbleUpon account, if you go and add your page to StumbleUpon after you set up your account, that apparently provides the longest term return on your whatever efforts you put on StumbleUpon. That keeps people coming back to your page for months at a time. And so I kind of glossed over that a little bit.
Your original setup does?
If you go through StumbleUpon, you add a page to StumbleUpon. Okay. And based on this research that I read, and I've actually seen experiences I've been testing out since then, if you go and develop a StumbleUpon account, which includes following a bunch of people and putting your profile and everything out there, if you go add a page to StumbleUpon, then for the next several months, it'll continue sending visitors to your site. And in fact, of all these, Reddit and StumbleUpon, I think we've spent the least amount of time on, and it's funny because they sent the most traffic. So maybe this is like a way of prioritizing where your efforts should be. But we've gotten a lot of traffic from both of those.
Twitter is more than I've expected.
Yeah, we get decent traffic. We haven't spent a whole lot of time on Twitter. We need to develop that account quite a bit.
Talking about these things, if you just go like post everything you stumble upon without, posting other sites or doing other things, then they're gonna blackfish.
Yeah. With all this stuff, just ask yourself the question: do I appear to be too overly self-promotional?
No.
And if you feel that way, then stop doing what you're doing and do it a different way. Go to a different social media account. So, anyway, thanks for coming, guys. Take it easy.